lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
After Iowa Raceway, where Tony Schowen picked up his first victory of the season, the Lionheart Retro Series leaves the cornfields and comes to the land of cotton, more precisely Alabama, as Barber Motorsports Park plays host to the Barber 100. It's round 15 of 18 on the inaugural season schedule, and all the nostalgic Lotus 79 action from pace lap to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Yellowhammer State, welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Soupzon. Joining me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, the hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, Joe Peak, and Dougie Beard is our camera guru. Tanner, this is the last road course on the schedule. The 6 previous road courses have produced 4 different winners. Ryan Otis won the first 2 at the Glen in Montreal. Jason Galvin won in Long Beach. Jake Wright went back-to-back at Mid-Ohio and Laguna Seca. And rookie Adam Blocker got the last twisty course win at Road America.
Most definitely, and this is going to be probably the biggest challenge yet for all those drivers that have won at previous road courses. The Barber Motorsports Park is a multi-purpose racing facility that opened up in 2003 on 740 acres of roller countryside in Leeds, Alabama. The track is narrow with passing opportunities in short supply. The track itself measures 2.38 miles and includes 15 turns. It's fast, it's short, and it is definitely tough. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is like, to jump on board of one of our own Lotus 79s, GSRCs, and take a lap around Barber Motorsport Park.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Barber. Down into turn 1, you'll be carrying a ton of speed, so it's very tough to execute passes into here. You'll need to be on your toes too, because it leads directly into the Alabama roller coaster. This is a long, undulating double apex bend. The exit here is extremely important as well, because a bad run could put you under threat into the next corner. Charlotte's Web is easily the most common place for overtakes on the circuit, but the dip downhill right as you hit the left pedal means braking late could leave you coming in too hot. To add to the difficulty, the corner opens up on the exit, so steering and finding traction will be tricky. Drift the car off to the left, and then you've got the notorious museum corner to tackle. You're braking and turning while the car gets light, but you're also threading the needle between these curves. The compression at the bottom of the hill should make finding the power a little easier, but right away, the back half of the course is unrelenting. 10 and 11 need a lot of precision and bravery to stay flat-footed. There's just no downtime around this track, and it's only a short blast up to 12 and 13. Drivers are fully committed plunging the car into here, and you'll see competitors of all skill levels have trouble keeping the car straight coming over this crest. Now you're into 14 and 15, which act as one continuous curve. Hug the inside of 15 to set yourself up better for the final corner. There's some banking here, but it's surprisingly easy to understeer off into the grass. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Barber.
Jed Yaman on the wheel, Joe Peak on the mic, taking us around the tight confines that is Barber. Now let's take a lap around the point standings. Keep in mind that these numbers reflect the drop races that the rules allow for. Up on top, he's got 2 championships over in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, and he's up on top here looking to get one here. And of course, that's Jake Wright with 3 wins this season, 2 of them being on road courses. Brian Otis is right behind him with 2 wins, both of those on road courses, and actually last time I checked was a little faster in practice. We'll check in on that in a minute. Jason Galvin has a couple wins, sits in 3rd. Now Dustin Wardlow just has 1 win, but if you're going to get it, how about the best place to pick it up? How about the Indy 500? Pick up some big points for that one. Travis Jagerliner in 5th spot. Robert Mikas in 6th position there. Samuel Ryman, his best finish was a 2nd at Milwaukee when he fooled everybody by 1 stopping the race. He sits down there in 7th. Big Joe Hassard, David Altman, and then there's a little mistake there. That should really be in 10th position. That should be Chris Lanini. He's a couple points ahead of Joe Branch for 10th spot. Let's go ahead now and look at the team championships. And just like in the IndyCar Series, it's no-name racing over here. The guys doing the heavy lifting is Jake Wright and Big Joe Hassard. But look at the battle for second. 6 points separates Adrenaline, Dragonfly Racing, and AGR. 97 points back to 103 point backs. You can see that Adrenaline and AGR actually swapped positions around Dragonfly, who holds stations in 3rd. Then way back there, but good to see them in the hunt, is Controlled Chaos, Bob Mikas, and Scott Bolster racing for them. All right, we've looked at the points. We've talked about the track. Tanner, why don't we take a second and look at actual race details here for today?
Yeah, absolutely. And before they start racing here, they're going to go into a qualifying session, which is going to be 4 laps by yourself around the track. And that's going to be a very tough one to do because you have to stay on the racetrack and get 0 instant contact points on anything, including the grass. Otherwise, they won't count your lap time. Something to keep an eye on as qualifying goes on. The race today is 42 laps, which is going to be 100 miles around this 2.38 mile road course. The fuel is 28% fuel load cell, and that's going to be approximately about 1 pit stop, approximately. So maximum fuel stint, 25 laps, give or take. Instant cap is 12 times, so that's either making a car car contact with another driver or going off the circuit of the racetrack into the grass area. A 12X will get you 3 championship points, and a 17 incident limit with cab will get you a disqualification and 5 championship points. No fast repairs, and the points are staggered there, Soup.
And right now qualifying is going on, so maybe we can take a peek and see how that plays out before we talk about some of the specifics of this track. One of the things is, as they get in their qualifying time, is going to be pit stops. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Let's talk about it right now. That pit lane, that entrance, they are going to make one stop. That's brutal, isn't it, Tanner?
It definitely is, and you're kind of got to work your way through that and get them speeds down as well. But we've already seen many drivers, and one of those drivers were, I believe, was George and Zaldo wrecking on the pit entrance, and they even do that in real life too. So the racetrack may be tough, but the pit road may be even tougher too.
Yeah, you exit off of the corner, and then you kind of have to race through the alley there before you get to the cones that slow you down. So you're actually trying to get through that little channel that sets you up to the pit lane. Now we're expecting one stop, but I tell you, this series is notorious for lying to the commentators. But I really do think it's going to be one stop today. We're going to go about 25 laps, so they can figure that out. Hey, look who's at the top! It's Ryan Otis.
It definitely is Ryan Otis, but in that second spot, who I thought was a little slow in practice, but in practice he scored second on the speed charts, and so far second on the qualifying grid will be Jake Wright, championship leader. Adam Blocker, we all know he's good at the road courses. He's currently in third. Another driver I think would be a sleeper today's Soup that I have seen. He's pretty consistent in the top 5 in practice. He actually was 6th fastest, but he showed great speed, and that was the 88 of David Altman. I think he's going to be a good sleeper for a top 5 pick, or maybe take one away somehow, some way.
And really, what you're looking at there on that leaderboard, how they qualify probably here at Barber is as important as any racetrack. As passing, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but man, it's a tall order for some of these guys. So, like Ryan Otis, he wants to get out there in front, so at least he has the guys behind him. He can hold them off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I took a lap around here a little earlier today, there, Soup, and I tell you what, passing will be a very tough thing to do. And we were kind of I was talking to our director earlier, and Charlotte's Web seemed like the corner to really pass. That would be turn 5. So that would be the corner that would be really for an overtaking passing position. But one of the hardest corners, in my opinion, as this race is going to go on here tonight, is got to be Museum Corner. That's going to be 7, 8, and 9. Oh, them elevation changes here, Soup. It's scary, but it's going to be fun to watch these guys maneuver these corners.
What the drivers are going to want to do is to be very careful, not make a mistake, because any mistake you make is going to be hard to make up on the track. You want to try to get that pit stop perfect. If you can make a pass, do it the easy way while people are on pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it earlier at the top of the show. I think this is going to be one of the hardest and most challenging road courses that these drivers have faced yet this season in the Lionheart Retro Series. That's just one man's opinion, but just seeing these guys making mistakes and then going back out there and trying it again, it's going to be a tough one for these guys, especially for the ones who've already won at road courses this season.
21 entry names on the entry list. Once again, the Lionheart Series always puts on a good show as this series nears the end of its inaugural season. This is round 15 of 18. Only 3 more to go after this one, and they are all ovals. Right now, as we look at Jason Galvin from Bakersfield, Jason currently sitting in 7th. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Adam Blocker has now moved up into the top spot, and more significantly, Jake Wright is down in 3rd.
Very interesting. Seeing a lot of these big old road guys who've already won at road courses this season, Soup. You got Adam Blocker, Ryan Otis, Jake Wright, and Wardlow all up there at Dwar's Candy Machine, or Dustin Wardlow. That's going to be another guy to watch as this race goes on today.
Yeah, but looking at the qualifying times, you can see them there. It almost looks like a class of 3 atop. The first 3 names you mentioned, Blocker, Otis, and Wright. Wardlow is almost a second behind Wright and well over a second behind Blocker, the pole sitter. So Dustin's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to Well, even find a podium, he's going to have to work a little bit.
He definitely is if you really look at the times. But, I usually always say, race trim's always different than qualifying trim because anything can happen during the race. And it's like, oh, I can overtake that, So you never know. I think we might have a couple surprise up our sleeves as we watch this race today.
A driver who is not out there right now, but I'll talk about him anyway, is our own GSRC commentator companion here. That is Samuel Ryman. He talked about really wanting to get a good qualifying position. I think he's going to be happy with 5th position as he sits about 0.2 faster than David Altman and about 0.3 faster than Jason Galvin.
Yeah, there's no denying Samuel Ryan's consistency and speed that he's able to perform in the Lionheart Retro Series in the last quite a few weeks, or last couple months, I should say, there, Sue, because he had notched up at least a good straight 6 top 10 finishes until we hit Gateway in Iowa, which was the last two previous races, were the only 2 races since his outside the top 10 since back in April. So Samuel Ryan, he's a consistent guy. As long as he can keep it on the track tonight, I think he could be up there for a top 5 finish tonight.
Looking there at Bob Mikas, a veteran of both this series and the IndyCar series as well. Bob sits 6th in the points this season.
Yeah, he has, and his finishes haven't been too stellar, but he has shown speed on the racetrack for sure. I'm sure Bob Michaels is looking forward to getting back and getting that momentum back into a top 10 finishing car, but Bob Michaels got some work to do.
Bob had a win earlier at Milwaukee.
He definitely did, and if I'm not mistaken here, Soup, I think he had another win earlier this season, which happened at Michigan.
Yeah, I my brain, he had one win. It was at the Michigan. Sorry about that. My brain thought Michigan and the mouth said Milwaukee. I can't believe everyone's got their qualifying times in. So why don't we run through this grid, and that'll give us time maybe to show us the onboard cameras. We'll take them 2 at a time. We have time here today. Tanner, I'll take the front row. Adam Blocker, we talked about it, inside of Ryan Otis.
And points championship leader Jake Wright is going to start in 3rd, side by side with the Dwar's Candy Machine of Dustin Wardlow.
Back in row 3, it's Samuel Ryman inside of David Altman.
My man, the Menards Machine guy, Jason Galvin's going to start in 7th today. He'll be side by side with Joe Branch in 8th.
Travis Jägerliner and Dandy Dan Guerin back in 10th.
Pierre Deigel is going to start outside the top 10 in 11th tonight, and league organizer George Zolder in 12th.
In the Baker Dozen spot, it is Bob Mikas inside of Frank Beezer.
Vincent Blumenthal will start 15th. He'll be right side by side with Bart Workman in 16th.
Tony Schowen coming off that win in Iowa is going to be inside Ed Tutwiler in 18th.
And Jesse Vincent, who the first driver not to take a qualification time, will start in 19th. Dylan McKenna will round out the top 20.
I believe Jesse's in there. He is our race steward. Matthew Mercer and Rory Collins back there as well. Okay, the cars are great enough. Maybe we can take a peek at the onboard cameras today. We have 2 of them, and I'm not sure which one we're going to go to first. Our director is going to tell me right now. We're going to bring up the onboard camera of Dustin Wardlow in the Dwar's Candy Machine. And David Altman back there in the Patrick Taylor Memorial onboard camera. Of course, Patrick passed away. It was a very sad thing. It's been, just about over a month. And Patrick, we still think of you. Prayers and thoughts go to his family. Go back to the onboard camera of Dustin Wardlow. Dustin was kind enough to send some of the GSRC commentators some Dwar's candy. And some really good stuff. Okay, round 15 and 18. Adam Blocker, the rookie, sitting up front in that beautiful blue machine on the inside of Ryan Otis. As we look way on above, you can see Otis in those Marlboro colors. A throwback back to the time when they could put cigarette sponsors back on the machines.
Yeah, it was a great time in motorsports.
Let's talk weather while we have a chance here.
Yeah, absolutely there, Soup, because I'm reading, and that's the number I actually circled, Soup, is 107 degree track temperature. The higher the track temperature, the slicker it gets when you're trying to gain the power down in these cars, and that's kind of a tough thing to do in these Lotus 79s when it's a hot track temperature. 78 degree air temperature, and the wind's not blowing too much. It's 2 miles an hour, 55% humidity. But that track temperature might be a game changer for some drivers today there, Bill.
Comfortable for the two-dimensional race fans, maybe not so comfortable for the tires. We have a very short pace lap. Well, actually, we get to go all the way around here as they're working through 2, 3 right now. So let's give us a chance to look at the track, get familiar with some of the camera angles. Now they head down into corner number 5, officially called the hairpin, but unofficially called Charlotte's Web because of the, I'm going to assume it's the wrought iron spider that sits over there.
That's the way I remember that corner. But Soup, I tell you what, we're coming up on a corner. I believe that's 7 right there. We're going to be coming up on a corner, which is Museum's Corner. And this is one of those corners, in my opinion, I'm going to call it a doozy because it is elevation change and it is very tough to do because you're going downhill and you're carrying so much speed and it's very easy to mess up. I was out there earlier today and oh my gosh, that was the one corner on the track that I was really struggling to really get. So hopefully these guys would take it easy through that corner today, but yet again, trying to tell a driver to take it easy.
If you're familiar with the real-world broadcast, you've seen the beautiful waterfall that they put in over there through that 7, 8, 9 complex. Looks really good on TV. Now the long straight down to 12 into the tunnel. And you'll get a good chance here to look when the pace car pulls off. You'll get to see the pace car pull off into this little thin exit road that the drivers still have to keep pace at, because the speed limit is not until they go all the way around till they have that left-hander.
Yeah, that turn 12 and 13 is going to be another tough corner because then you're going uphill. So and it's very easy. But here we go, green flag racing.
Adam Blocker gets a jump on the field. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind those cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it is our pole sitter, Adam Blocker, leading the Stampede down into corner number 1. He's followed by Ryan Otis, Jake Wright, Wardlow in second. Now there's a little battle back there in fourth. Little battle back there for David Altman and Samuel Ryman. They go 5th and 6th.
Jason Galvin. I don't know if it's going to work right there right now, but got a lot of side-by-side racing from Galvin on back here. That would be 7th on back there, Soup.
I think Galvin's going to be in the good. He's going to get a good run out of the hairpin, and he's going to get that spot. Sam drops up another couple positions. Samuel Ryman drops back to 8th, allowing Joe Branch to get underneath him. A little bit of a love tap back there from Dan Guerin on the back of Travis Jaegerliner.
Yeah, that was almost a love tap right there because there was a little bit of a ricochet check up there, Soup. So, we got a car that might be off the racetrack here. I think that is Dan Guerin. He actually got into the grass area.
Yeah, we see that also Blumenthal went off into the sand. I haven't seen Guerin. Guerin must have got in trouble. I haven't picked him up yet.
Ooh, the braking in these cars. These guys are getting a little snappy loose on braking.
The action up front, pretty tame. The action back in about 7th, 8th, 9th, and so forth, a little more aggressive back there as Adam Blocker has a nice 7 tenths of a second lead over Ryan Otis, Jake Wright, Dustin Wardlow, and David Altman. Right now they race almost in the order that they qualified in, except that David Altman has able to make it around the driver who qualified 5th, and that was Samuel Ryman. Ryman has really fallen back as he's dropped 3 spots back into 8th.
Yeah, hopefully Samuel can regain his composure just a little bit, gain his speed back, regain focus, and the more he does that, the more he'll be consistent.
Looking at a battle now for 16th. This is Vincent Blumenthal. He's got Dylan McKenna behind him. And Dylan's got a pretty good run. That
draft can be big time huge too on them straightaways there, Soup.
Now they come through the series of right-handers.
Oh, we got a car. We got a car in the kitty litter up ahead here. Of these guys, trying to make out who that was. That was. I figure who that was up there. I think it was.
Jason Galvin has had an off. Beezer is also off. Jason Galvin just had an off. In fact, you want a good look at it. Maybe get a chance to see it from Joe Branch's car. Watch this one here. I believe our director has found this one. Now Galvin in that Menards kind of yellow and green color car up there. I guess it's Quaker States, but it reminds me of the Menards car.
Yeah, the driver that was in the back of the pack was Pierre Daigle that went off into the kitty litter earlier.
Let's see if we can find it. I believe the spin is coming up. We missed. Maybe it's coming up right now. He got a little bit of the curb, and there he goes.
Yep.
Boy, you can see how the car just jumped when he got the left side tires on the curbing.
I mean, realistically, Soup, he was just a passenger.
Let's go back up front, because all of a sudden, Ryden Otis has closed down the gap a little bit on Adam Blocker. He is now within shouting distance, only about a half second back.
He's gaining on him, taking his time a little bit, being a little aggressive around this corner here. Getting there. That was 3/10 at the line. That was actually a 2/10 gain right there. Jake Wright's actually keeping, believe it or not, Jake Wright is actually keeping tabs with the top two drivers right now.
As expected, the top three starting to distance themselves from Dustin Wardlow, who's doing his very best to hang in there in that podium spot, but boy, he's sitting in fourth. He's looking up at it right now. The top three drivers, we're looking at Dustin Wardlow running in fourth. Now we look at Bart Workman.
Yeah, Workman, I think he was just getting passed by Galvin.
Galvin had that spin, remember, and that's what put that faster driver back behind, so he's trying to make up some time. We're going to look at the replay right here. There you can see the pass being made. Next on Galvin's hit list will be Dan Guerin, who's also had a couple offs so far. Maybe we can go up to 10th. That's Guerin working on Bob Mikas, who's running in 9th spot.
Everybody seems pretty smooth sail here. I'm only counting one driver, one lap down so far. That would be Frank Beezer. And I do see a battle going to go on. Jesse Vincent wanted to overtake Jordan Zaldo, but couldn't make anything happen.
Now, let me correct. Is that Jesse Vincent has actually raced? Let's go to that right now. I talked about him being the race steward. I was incorrect. There was rumors about him getting out of the steward's chair and coming down and slipping in behind the wheel. He has a couple wins at this course when they raced in the Lionheart series, and they were wondering if he was going to come out. This is a great battle back here. And Zaldo in 13th, Vincent in 14th, being challenged from behind by Daigle, who's already had a couple issues. He qualified a little bit faster than he wanted, then going a little bit wide. That was Dylan McKenna back there. McKenna kind of falls out of it.
And I believe we caught that on cam. Pierre Daigle almost annihilated Jesse Vincent in Museum Corner, but he got in the binders pretty quickly there that avoided the contact. Lost momentum, but no contact.
As we ride on board with McKenna, the caboose of this 5-car train. And there you see him going wide. Up front, it is still Blocker with Otis pounding him. I got a hunch that it's going to be really, really hard for us to catch a pass on camera, because unless he does it in the expected position, a lot of the passes I've seen have been by just a mistake made by the driver in front, and the driver behind scoots by. And I kind of think that's what Otis is doing right now, just back there racing in that Marlboro machine.
Kind of look through who's been gaining spots since the start and who's been losing spots through the start. How about a good shout out to Bob Micah, started 13th up to 9th, so he's gained a few positions since the drop of the green flag. Another driver I've been looking at that has losing spots since the drop of the green has been Jason Galvin, backed up into outside the top 10 and 11th right now.
Yeah, with that big spin.
Yeah, and he hasn't really been gaining too much back because right ahead of him is Dan Guerin and Micus.
Oh my, we got to go. You talk about Dan Guerin.
Yeah.
He almost punted Bob Micus.
He got sideways doing it too.
Took my breath away. This is a battle for ninth. Guerin qualified in 10th position, and he's racing back here in 10th. But honestly, he fell back a few on the incident we couldn't get on camera that Tanner saw.
Yeah, just scrolling through the field, everybody's pretty separated, wide out. Some of them kind of putting them tires on the grass, but not fully going into the grass anymore, like we were seeing. Ooh, who's losing spots like crazy here? Oh, that was Pierre Deigel. Actually lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah, Deigel just really put it over the curbing again. I think that was in your favorite corner there, and like corner number 9, and then he lost a ton of time.
Well, this is going to be a good battle that's going to heat up. Look at Jesse Vincent trying to go by George Anzaldo here. I mean, this is probably the most entertaining part of the race so far. Yeah. I mean, is the back of the pack battles, which it's showing a great show back here. A lot of give and take, too.
Vincent now ducking his nose on the inside.
Oh, sideways. Ooh.
Anzaldo said, not yet, Jesse. Now they work through the carousel. Vincent, I think, clearly faster. Just not any room. Oh.
Wow.
And there's the mistake. And there's the pass.
I mean, I when I was watching that, I completely... Oh, go ahead.
And constantly, Anzaldo not only paced once, he paced twice.
Oh,
and now he's loose. He gives up the position to Degla. He gets loose. Gives up another position to McKenna.
I was about to comment all that wheel work by George Anzaldo there, Soup. Holy cow.
We're on board with the car that got sideways. Look at that. And there's no momentum out of there, and there they go. I believe that's the first pass, right? Is that what we're looking at? Then we have another one here. Then the second one right here that causes him to get loose. He gathers the back up, and if you watch to driver's right, there they go.
Tell you what, Jesse Vincent's been taking these quarters like, sideways. I don't know if he's been doing any kind of dirt racing or not on iRacing, but if he has, it's totally paying off.
Let's go to 7th. This is heating up. This is Ryman, Jägerliner, and Beezer. Now, if I look at that, they're still racing in the order they came across the start-finish line. Ryman trying to stop the bleeding. He started in 5th. I believe he fell down to 8th, so he's made up one spot. I think Jägerliner was one of the cars that he had to get around.
He is, and I think Jägerliner's putting a little pressure on him as closer as he's getting to Samuel here. Samuel's taking corner nice and easy as best as to his ability. Oh, he took that corner very nice. That was 12 and 13. Turn 12 and turns 13. And a fight for second place on track.
Now, Otis has fallen off a blocker a little bit, fallen back into the clutches of Wright. And I think Jake was happy to sit in 3rd as long as Ryan was able to keep pace with the leader. But as soon as blocker started to pull away, Wright's got to go. Workman coming in for a stop. This has got to be too early.
Yeah,
he had to spin.
He had to spin. Yeah, he actually spun.
Yeah, he did that right in front of, I think, Pierre Degla. The car got off. You'll see the car get off on the left side in the grass and just comes around on him.
Yeah, if you hear the power down on the throttle there of Bart Workman, he actually tried to get into the gas to get off the grass as quickly as possible, and it just went right around on him.
And he made contact with the wall on the inside, so it's going to be in there for repairs. If he does come out, probably not going to be all that fast. They still race up front in the same order. Blocker, Otis, Wright. That could change just like that. That was the sound of my finger snapping in front of the mic. Poor Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, racing all by himself there. 5 seconds to get up to Jake Wright in third. 5 seconds to get back to David Altman in fifth. Truly a man on an island. Let's go to the DeWars Candy onboard camera and get a look at that beautiful cloud festoon sky that's pressing down on the Alabama countryside.
Ooh, man, that's a roller coaster ride there.
You can see there off to your left, that building. I believe that is the museum where they have the one of the largest auto museums in the United States. If you're in Alabama, check it out. Boy, this onboard camera, you really get an idea of the elevation changes.
You really do, and you really do, and it really gives you a good idea of how fast these guys are going. And it's, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's the closest you can really get it to the real life aspect of Barber.
Dylan McKenna just had a loop around. I'm not sure he actually touched anything. I'm not even sure he went on the grass. He was racing in 15th. I'm not even sure he lost a position here.
I don't think he did.
See if we can find it. I'm not even sure if the director's going to show an incident for this one to actually look for. It was just it wasn't that long ago. Let's stay on here a little bit. We'll give it another. I guess we don't have it. That's fine. We'll give him a little love there anyway. Dylan McClellan running back in 15th position.
Got some drivers going around Frank Beezer. That would be Dan Guerin and Jesse Vincent did beforehand.
Right, there are some series where we do a back marker review. We'll have an opportunity to do it here, but it's going to be fun because we actually have lap traffic. We can go up to the leader. It's Adam Blocker. He's running up behind Matthew Mercer now, the last car on the lead lap. Check their lap times to see how quickly he's going to be there. Blocker's last lap, a 1:14. Mercer ran, a 1:20. He's going to be there pretty darn quick.
Man, I tell you.
I finished talking here.
Yeah, I tell you, Jake Wright, though. Oh, we got a car going into the grass thing. That's Mercer. Letting the leaders go by. Tell you what, Jake Wright's reeling Ryan Otis in, though.
Mercer didn't want any part of that one in it. In his defense, it's one thing to get out of the way of one car, but when you have three cars coming like that, that's one way to do it. Just pull it over, let them by, and they'll get up to speed, especially when you're so off pace.
Oh, Dan Guerin, he might have a problem.
He looped it around, nosed it into the wall very hard.
Oh yeah, he was actually loose just before he got into the throttle. He's actually trying to save that thing. Now that part of the racetrack would be turn 2 and 3, which is known as Alabama Roller Coaster.
Well, that was certainly an e-ticket ride because his day's going to end. Nobody knows about e-tickets. Okay, at least our director knows what you mean. Go ahead, Google Disneyland and e-tickets. I'm glad I'm this way because this is 1979. I think there were actually e-tickets at Disneyland in 1979. So if we're actually in a retro league, let's have an old commentator as well.
I'd like to take a look at a battle on track right now producing Samuel Reineman and Joe Brandt for 6th.
looking at that one. We can stay
Ooh.
on that one. Yeah. I can report while we're looking at this. McKenna side swipe the left-hand side of the car. Again, we don't need to get it. This is much more interesting right here.
As he has hunt down Joe Branch. And I think Samuel, he had that slow start to the race there, Soup, but now he's regained his focus, and he's driving back up towards the front.
Sam's going to come in.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to come in. There's our first stop.
All right. Be careful.
With 28 to go. See, they lied to me. They told me the max you could go was 25. I'm telling you, the Lionheart guys just like to make the commentators look silly.
I believe this is going to be the first round of the green flag pit stops.
We're seeing that Pierre Daigle is racing down there in 13th position. He might have had it off, and sure enough,
he did.
He looped it around. He didn't hit anything, put it into the tundra. And if our director can find it, you're going to see really some of the great runoff area here.
Yeah, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that's turns 12 and 13 right there.
Kind of put it out onto the golf course. There you go, and there's plenty of room.
Well, Soup, if it's going to be 15 laps on a tank of fuel approximately when the fuel window starts opening up, then what? We could be looking at a two-stop race.
No, I don't think so. I think the reason that he came in is because the fuel stint is longer. Of course, I could be wrong. They could have really lied to me. But I think it's probably why they said it was 25 laps was the max they can go. I'm thinking now Samuel came in. Ryman's pretty smart. With 28 to go, he probably thinks he can get there from here. So maybe they can go 28 laps. Or maybe you're right. Maybe Sam is coming in and going to two-stop it. We'll find out soon enough.
He's back on track already. He only had a 5.6 second pit stop.
I think that what Sam did, and I think it's kind of a testimony to what he did on the very first lap when he let all those drivers by. He's not looking to fight. He let them by on the first lap, get out of the way, I'll just race back here. Then when it started to get into battle, I'll come in for a pit and let him by again. Sam kind of using the pacifist strategy of this.
I want to say the battle for the race lead might be heating up here too, Soup. I tell you what, it got very close, and Otis is back.
And it is going to be very interesting because they're coming up on the back of Tony Schowen and Vincent Blumenthal, who are in a battle for 15th. Now, I hesitate to say that because it seems like when I look at it from way above, they seem so far away, but their pace is so much faster than those guys. They're going to be there really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I've been kind of going back and forth. It's like, well, they seem far apart, but when you're kind of looking down on track, they're a lot closer than they appear. Otis is really close now to Adam Blocker. Doesn't have any opportunities there to make some kind of attempt to pass, but they're coming up on some lap traffic here. Might change the ball game just a little bit.
The lap times, their difference is about 5 seconds. Good news for the leaders is Schowen and Blumenthal. Blumenthal gets loose.
Yep.
And
right in front of the leaders.
And I think that probably caused Blocker with a little bit of a checkup. And now Ryan Otis, he's right there shouting at him.
He definitely is, but he's gaining that time back now through the final couple corners there.
Watch out now. Jake Wright has decided to come in from third. 25 laps to go. Now that's what they told me. So this would be the front of the window. Now Jake might feel that maybe he was faster, and if we get those guys away, he can run some hot laps. What he's going to do is get, I would assume, fresh rubber. Takes on his fuel, so in theory he should be faster, although his tank is going to be a little heavier.
A little bit, but he'll have to burn that off, but I'm sure he'll be all right.
Give me a flip of the coin. I'll take fresh rubber in a heavier car than old rubber in a car that's lighter and a little squirrelier. So let's see what Jake can do right now, as he's the leaders of all the cars who've pitted.
It's going to be very interesting to see because I'm wondering where Samuel's going to end up after everybody pretty much pits.
With Wright coming in, Blocker was able to negotiate Schoen and Blumenthal, putting them a lap down, leaving only 13 cars on the lead lap.
Do not see the leaders coming in this time by. Maybe we'll get the 29 of Dustin Wardlow in. Nope, he will not.
What I can do here with my fine timing and scoring, I can actually give you an interval from Blocker back to Wright. And we're looking at about 27 seconds. So if you're scoring at home or even if you're watching alone, mark down on your clipboard 27 seconds. And we'll see if that shrinks or grows.
I believe it will grow, in my opinion.
We'll see what type of traffic that Jake Wright is in right now as he runs in fifth position.
No, it's pretty
around.
clear. It's clear. McKenna pits. He's back there in the 19th spot.
Hits from a lap down. Oh, we have a... Because I think he just spun. Again, McKenna has spun. He's been in the grass more than a Jamaican farmer. Adam Blocker up in front, leading by 1 second. Uh-oh, Joe Branch had something to say, and sure enough, oh my goodness, let's go. Just happened. Joe Branch gets together with Travis Jägerliner. I appreciate Joe Branch coming over the microphone.
Joe Branch may have had miscue turn 8 and 9 right there.
Poor Travis Jägerliner. He had to think he was by him, and then Branch came back. Are we going to look at this maybe from Jägerliner's point of view? Branch is around, and then the car comes back around right in front of him. There he is off. Where are you going to go if you're in here? Okay, I'll go out here. This seems safe. Nope. That's a tough one.
Very tough one indeed. That's a bummer.
The old racing axiom is that the spinning car, aim for the spinning car because it's time to get there.
Jason Galvin is in the pits here.
Okay. Nope, Galvin has had an off as well as he sideswiped it into the...
He took a pretty good lick into the guardrail.
Oh, and his car is crabbing after that one.
Yep, he took that guardrail really took a significant damage. It did not look like much contact, but it was just enough to crab it.
Again, you get the car out on the grass, it's just going to go the direction that it's going.
That was coming out of turn 14, if I'm not mistaken, or final turn, yeah.
That interval between Blocker and Wright, 27.1 seconds. I didn't give you the tenths of a second. To be honest with you, it was 27.5 when I looked at it. I said mark it down on your clipboard. So he's knocked off a little bit of time.
A little bit, but it's not as much time as I would think, coming from Jake Wright. But.
Well, he didn't have the speed. He qualified third, so in theory, he shouldn't be as fast as these guys. What that does move is the Dustin Wardlow up to fourth. Hey, Dustin, you're in fourth. You got 11 seconds now to second and 12 seconds back to fourth. I apologize, as Dustin Wardlow, I meant to say, is up into third on that podium spot. My gosh, he has not seen a car around him since lap number 3. How about a little bit of an onboard camera here from David Altman running in fourth?
I think he's been really quiet today with barely any cars surrounding him.
As we're looking the right direction on this one because
he's in the pits.
The car you'll see at the very back, and there he is coming in the pits. Nice job, Director. We catch it on time. You can see that Jake Wright was beginning to come up on him, so Altman comes in for his stop.
Beautiful entrance to pit road. I mean, wow, I got to tip my hat to that.
Now, what'll be fun here, why don't we pick up Sam Ryman real quick, because this is the guy who might have a chance. Sam came in really early. Sam right now is working through the S's, going into 12 and 13. He's got a long way to go before he gets up to Altman. I figure Altman's going to get out first. Altman's still in his box. Ryman working through 14 and 15. Now, this is pit entrance right here. Altman now beginning to roll. And I think Altman's going to get well in front of Ryman.
Yep. And speaking of Samuel Ryman, I believe he's driving a special paint scheme today there, Bill. Of one of our very good friends, Mr. Bryce Whitson, who's battling leukemia and using that hashtag never quit. And boy, it's a trending for sure. Get well there, Bryce.
So Altman now running second of all the cars we've hit up. Ryan Otis is in. This is big. Now this is interesting if we can pick up Jake Wright. Wright is coming across the start-finish line now. Otis is just beginning to roll. This is going to be close.
Oh, he's getting out of the pits right now. He's getting onto the track. It's going to be right in front of Wright.
He got him. Otis is out before Wright.
Oh, man, those tires on Otis are going to play dividends right there.
And honestly, the interval looks just about what it was before, but now they have Vincent Blumenthal to negotiate up in front. Vincent, a veteran, he'll know how to get out of the way.
He would, but...
this is a horrible place. This is going to be bad news for Jake Wright as he's going to get stuck behind him through your favorite section, Tanner.
Yeah, definitely, and actually those corners right there are probably... And, he had to check up. Yep, that costs Wright a little time. Half a second.
Otis was able to get around before they got to the 7-8-9 combination, and it really paid off. When is Adam Blocker coming in? He's still out there. The interval from Blocker now to Otis is 28 seconds. Remember, I told you it was 27 when they were dealing with Wright.
Wardlow's
He's making up time. The Candyman coming in. Wardlow's in. I see no reason to check anybody to get around him as he was racing about 10 seconds front and back, and he's going to cycle out right where he belongs in fourth position. Behind Otis and Wright and Blocker, who's yet to stop.
Right now, Blocker, he's getting to the point where he can come down pit road now. Yep, he's in. Adam Blocker's in.
And we see, watch him negotiate here now. He's not done. This is the... Talk about Disneyland. That's kind of like Autopia at Disneyland, except there's no rails to keep the car going in the right direction.
You know, he almost lost it just before he got to that pit cone line there, Bill. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Would that cost him time entering pit road there?
We'll see. Otis working his array around 15 right now, just going up past pit entrance. Blocker in that very last stall. Now beginning to roll. Otis is on the main straight. Blocker will take a while to get the car up the song. Here comes Otis. Blocker is out, and he's got it. Interval of 3 seconds.
Ooh, so he gained there. Wow. I was just going to... Yeah, the traffic really, and it also bit Jake Wright as well as far as times are concerned. So that could play a lot of, that's big time play right there.
Yep, because cone to cone, Blocker, Otis, and Wright all about the same, all about 29.5 seconds. Not enough to be a cause for the big gap of them right now. It was all traffic. 9 cars on the lead lap. Still a few drivers yet to come in. Travis Jagerliner, Bob Mikas, and George Gonzaldo still needing to make a stop.
Ed Tutwiler around, right in front of the leaders.
Doesn't hit anything, but my goodness.
Oh, another driver into the grass here. Pierre Diegel right ahead of him.
Yeah. I think if you can go to get Pierre right now. Just stay on it after the spin. You don't even need to go anywhere. Just go back to Diegel right now, and that'll give you an idea of what happens. Diegel coming up, he sees the car in the grass, gets a little bit worried, and takes that racing line there. Now we come back live.
Yeah, Sam's I mean, he's going to be in a good fight here. I believe that's George and Zaldo just ahead of him. That would be a good battle on track for 8th.
Yeah. He's got to be saying, George, here I come, and you haven't made your stop yet. Tell you what, George, and George's going to go around one more time. George's a pretty sharp guy. I wouldn't be surprised if George doesn't actually let him over. Get out of the way and let him go by. George's not really racing anybody. They come through here. That said, though, George has no idea what Samuel Ryman's pit strategy is right now. You can get a lot of information from iRacing, although there is some software that now will let you do it. Let's see what George does. Look at that. Well, he kind of gave him room. He left the door open. This Sam, in his pacifist mode here today, decided not to step through it.
I'm sure he will eventually here. They're coming down my favorite corner, as you say there, Soup, and quite frankly, it is my favorite corner to talk about because it's that downhill.
Let's stay on this a minute. The good news for Ryman is I don't think he has anywhere to go. Not like he has anybody he's close to catching.
No, because once he gets by George, the next position he'd have to go for would be for 7th. That would be Bob Mikas, but That's a good 8 seconds ahead.
And George one more time. Now Sam's got to be saying. Now Sam's going to have to do it as George stays out one more time. Sam can't afford to wait too much longer. George Anzaldo out there on 27-lap old tires. Every round, the Lionheart guys send the commentators information to make us look smart. And it said 25 laps is the max you can go, but clearly as George is out there 27, he's going to try to go 28.
I'd like to say this. The last time I seen the race leaders between the separation between 1st and 2nd was 1.8 seconds. It is now down to 5/10 there, Soup.
My goodness, he has come, and we're talking about Ryan Otis.
Yeah, on older tires than Adam Blocker by a couple laps there.
Oh, 4th position, Dustin Wardlow has spun. Now, how long ago was this is the question. And he...
Wasn't that long ago?
Yeah. No, it was his lap 27, Director.
His lap 27, he indeed spun. That was right after the start-finish line, too. Oh, he hit that curb.
Let's see if we'll stay on this one here a minute. Let's see if we found it. There it is. So, you needed all that cushion, Candyman.
Man, thank goodness that's all pavement there, too.
Wardlow was racing in 4th position, so he's fallen a little bit closer now. Well, I guess back to Samuel. No, I guess it's Altman who will be in there now. Only 6 seconds back, so Wardlow's got a little bit of work to do.
I think and Sam, he's gained, but I don't know how much he's going to gain much anymore. He has a little ways to go to get ahead by David Altman. But, he's pretty much gained those spots back since the drop of that green flag there, Soup.
Let's go up front.
Oh, yes.
And this is Blocker and Otis. Now, we've been watching this for 29 laps, basically, and that's Otis following Blocker. He gets close. And look at this. As we go way on board, you can see the top 3. That's some good camera work from our director.
Separated by 1.3 seconds.
What Otis is trying to do right now is milk the rooster. And of course, anybody knows when you're trying to milk a rooster, the hard part starts after you catch it. And he's certainly caught Blocker, but Otis can't figure out how to get around him. Look at the different racing lines they take through the carousel there, through the corner number 3.
Quite frankly, I really didn't realize there was that many different racing lines on a track like this there, so...
And you can see the oompah-pah of the accordion effect there as the bellows squeeze in and out. They gather up and then they stretch.
Well, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. We're coming up on some lap traffic here that might be in just the way a little bit. Coming up some cars. We got a car ahead of Adam Blocker here.
It's Travis Jaegerlander. The poor guy's running in 8th position. You got to finish. I'm running in 8th. I'm in pretty good shape, but they're coming, Travis. And it's not just one. It's not just two. It's going to be 3 of them. Travis, a veteran. Racing nobody, just pulls over. What's 1, 2, 3 go by? Bear claw for Travis Jaegerlander at the next Backmarker United meeting.
Watch there, Soup. Those 2 cats up there are going to be bound for the race lead. And if anything happens, a quote from you, Jake Wright's in that popcorn position.
Next up on the hit list is former champion in the IndyCar Lionheart Series. I believe actually a 2-time champion, Jesse Vincent. Jesse, so good to see you out here on the track racing with you. So often we see you up in the steward's box, yelling at the drivers, telling them to behave. Well, you're out there right now. You're one of the boys.
And he's had a whale of a day, hasn't he? I mean, good Lord. He started from the green flag in 19th. Didn't take a qualification time. He's up there in 7th on the tail end of the lead lap.
Looking to get around Tony Schowen, who is a lap down. Ed Tutwiler had something really talking aloud. I'm not sure what happened to Ed, but he's in the pits.
He's out on track.
Okay, he's out.
If anything, he had a couple of loosey-goosey moments, but...
I don't think it's worth going. I don't think it is. Let's go up to the leaders here as they just negotiate their way around Tony Schowen. Oh, yeah, and Tanner, it's just, when is he going to do it is the question, and where is he going to do it?
And what's going to happen when he does it?
For you keeping score, Dylan McKenna just spun again right in front of Bob Mikas. Matthew Mercer gets around him. There is an incident cap, and Dylan's got to be getting close to getting there as we ride on board with our second place driver, Ryan Otis.
He's coming. I mean, there's going to be something happening before this race, before we see those checker flags.
This is where my wife, this is when she starts to analyze a race. She starts looking at race sponsors to see who's going to do it. And I guess we have DQ. I'm going to assume that's Dairy Queen out there against Marlboro. The blue car it's the blue car on the wing there of Adam Blocker, have a DQ logo on it, I believe. Oh, looks like a DQ. Of course, it's on the very top wing there.
It is Dairy Queen.
Okay, there are questions to be.
Dairy Queen on the fin.
Joe thinks he has a different one out there. I believe on the front wing it says Dairy Queen. We're going to talk. Adam's going to come in and talk to us. We're going to see what's on there.
You also want to say it's Sunoco on the front end of the hood there.
Cigarettes against ice cream. Both are bad for you. They're coming up to lap Jesse Vincent now. Jesse, of course, a many-time race steward, does not want to give a penalty to himself. Gets out of the way.
I have a question. Where did... I don't know if you've seen it, Bill, or not, but I wonder where Jake Wright got the left front wing damage from.
Yeah, it almost looks like he maybe went over a curve. Yeah, you're right.
Something to keep an eye on just in case it may affect speed, but I don't think it really has been. He's been really keeping tabs with the top 3 drivers. Or top 2 drivers, excuse me. Oh, ever so close, ever so fast goes Ryan Otis, but could not complete the pass.
Good in 15, just kind of pester him right now like a little sister. He's got 10 laps to get Adam Blocker to make a mistake. Probably only 8 laps for Adam Blocker to make a mistake. After that, then he's going to have to force the issue.
What no better way to try to force somebody to make a mistake by putting a little pressure on them and teasing them a little bit. Holy cow. Oh, but we are coming on some traffic here. Might be getting out of the way though. Hopefully they don't catch him at the wrong time. That would be Rory Collins they'll be coming up on. And this will be a bad corner to really catch him.
6 cars on the lead lap. As I look back for a battle, maybe from some of the lap cars, really don't see anything back there as well. Everyone pretty much separated right now. This is one of those rare instances where the best battle on the track is right up in front.
Just trying to keep an eye up here towards the front, see if it's going to cost Adam Blocker some time on lap traffic. Otis really gains on him. It does. Nothing produced.
That's Rory Collins trying to get out of the way. Rory, you can't make your car invisible. It has mass. You have to put it somewhere. I feel for you, buddy. Nice job. Now let's watch the run from Otis. There's not enough time for the toe to get him up there. He tries to take a peek, just looking. Maybe I'll do it into one. Let's stay with him now. Watch the different racing lines here as they go through the carousel.
Ooh.
Oh, let's go. Wait, let's go to Tony Schowen. I think it just happened. Is this Schowen? And
Oh yeah, another car off track. Yeah, that Matthew Mercer's off track.
Now this is Schowen, and this is the Candyman behind him, who kind of spins him like taffy.
That was Dylan McKenna again, actually, hitting the wall. That's what caused with Matthew Mercer.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Mercer, Dylan
Mercer
McKenna.
And McKenna, yeah, McKenna.
McKenna's the one that went flying in the air, and
he's got to be close to his incident cap. Yeah.
I was gonna say he took a flip.
All right, let's go up front. It continues to heat up as they work down the main straight again. When they come across this time, they'll have 8 to go.
Top 3 separated by 9/10 of a second on track.
Now, if the rest of the drivers can behave, we'll see what happens here. They work through the Alabama roller coaster. They're clear. Now they come down to Charlotte's Web. Look at this here. Look how far on replay. Watch how he gets that right wheel off. Whew. Now they're close. Now we're back live as they come down into 7. And all of a sudden, the man who has 2 championships over in the IndyCar series, Jake Wright, in the words of my other booth partner, Sean Ambrose, it's time to boogie. And we've got ourselves a 3-car battle up front with 6.5 to go.
And just think, it's just now on. I mean, it is now time to go and put them boxing gloves on, because now it's time to fight for that top spot.
That battle, we stay on that. I can just report to you that Dustin Wardlow remains in 4th place, ahead of David Altman comfortably.
More lap traffic coming up. Let's see if this is going to play a key role in the top 2 drivers that have been separated by 0.3 of a second each lap.
Coming up on Ed Tutwiler. Tutwiler basically parks the car on the lawn. In my neighborhood, you get a ticket for that. But Ed Tutwiler, you're okay. Now through this technical section.
And through that technical section, I think Otis is stronger than Blocker in that section of the track, which is going to be 8 and 9 of Museum's Corner. But I tell you what, there's nowhere to go to make that pass.
6 cars on the lead lap. We're looking at half of the lead lap cars right there.
Ooh,
Walker,
man.
Otis, and Wright.
Otis just gained so much on him, but
this is where he needs to be good. If he can get a good run off of 16, he's got a chance into 1.
Into the grass. Yeah, he clipped the grass just a little bit.
Yep. Now we come up. They work through. They go through the Alabama roller coaster through 2 and 3. Now on the throttle for a squirt of gas down into the hairpin. Again, this is another passing zone. This is where Otis is good. As he comes up here, he needs to get a good drive off this corner.
Ooh, right
way
there.
too far back. Yeah.
Yeah, Blocker was really good there.
Good in, not so good out though where he needs to be. Now through this section, watch how good Blocker's here. And now they come up on another back marker. That is the orange car of Tony Schowen getting out of the way. I honestly think that maybe Otis's best shot is out of the final corner into one.
Right. Yeah, I tend to agree. Last couple times I did see Blocker a little better on the final corner towards the start-finish line, like right here.
Nothing going to happen this time. Well, we talked about it in the pre-race show, how important qualifying was. Adam Blocker qualified first, he races first. Ryan Otis qualified second, he races second. You figuring out the pattern? Jake Wright qualified third, he races third. Wardlow, fourth.
He ain't done yet, but man, the leaders close up again. But Otis has got to be better on the exits than Adam Blocker. If he can be better on the exits, he will get side by side with Blocker.
Blocker looking for any racing line. If Blocker were to make a mistake, Jake Wright is there to snatch up second position. They head down into the tunnel.
And I wasn't lying when I said this is probably the most technical road course that these guys have raced on all season, the Lionheart Retro Series. Even if you won on a road course this season, man, it's a very challenging place. And what a way to conclude the roadside part of the Retro Series.
Otis about 4 car lengths back out of the final corner, able to make up no time at all as they remain equally spaced. Now through the carousel, this is where I think Otis is really good. He makes up some time. About 3 car lengths back now. Too far back, he's got to be closer, and he needs a good exit out of this hairpin. He drops back a little bit, loses a little momentum, actually falls closer to Jake Wright than he does to the man he's chasing.
That exit out of the hairpin is where Blocker really gets his momentum out of it. I'm starting to notice that the last couple times.
Remember, I'm not sure how much it means the tires start to even out, but Blocker's out there with 2 lap pressure tires, then Otis, and 7 lap pressure tires, then Wright. Remember, Wright took that early stop.
Oh, man,
Otis probably working the car harder, having to deal with racing in dirty air for, my goodness, the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, then when he gets some tires, just a little bit of grass, man, it does not help Ryan Otis at all. I've seen him clip it a couple times just in this last lap.
2 to go.
Oh boy.
Round 15 of the inaugural season of the Lionheart Retro Series, racing in these Lotus 79s. It's Adam Blocker, Ryan Otis, and Jake Wright, 1, 2, 3.
Just a little bit of an update, too, while the battle still continues up towards the front before we conclude the race, is Samuel Ryman has been gaining on David Altman for 5th. Don't think there's going to be enough time to get to that top 5 spot.
And another piece of good news for Samuel Ryman, I think he's about 6 seconds ahead of the leaders right now. Should be enough for him to remain on the lead lap.
Oh, Otis drove it in there hard. Holy cow.
Trying to make stuff happen. Now looking for a drive off of that final corner.
White flag.
They have no traffic ahead of them.
No traffic. So, I mean, what can Otis do here? I mean, Otis has got to try to produce something to get to Adam Blocker. And at the same time, he can't cost himself another position on track because Jake Wright's just sitting in that catbird seat back there waiting for something to happen.
Through the hairpin. Not many chances left. Blocker's got to get closer if he wants to get it done. They go through the technical section now. I'm sorry, Otis has to get it done if he has to hurry. Blocker is perfect through this section.
That was a perfect corner.
Now they're on the gas. Otis with one more chance, and that's got to do it out of 16, and of course he won't have the full straight to do it. Running out of opportunities. We said passing was going to be hard, and it is. And right now, Jake Wright is getting in the mix. As all of a sudden, Otis' attention goes to the rearview mirror instead of the windscreen. They work through 15. Otis makes a great gain there. They come around looking for a drive. Keep it on the tarmac, boys. A great run for Otis, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. He gets his best run yet, but he runs out of time. Too late. Adam Blocker gets the win. Ryan Otis gets second. Jake Wright gets third.
What a race. What a finish. I mean, I bet Otis is only going to... I bet he's probably thinking, I just need one more lap.
The Candyman racing in fourth position. I could sing you the Candyman by the time he actually gets across right now, as he is 45 seconds behind the leaders. In fact, I think we're just going to assume that Dustin Wardlow, David Altman, and Samuel Ryman bring it home in fourth, fifth, and sixth. The racing is just about over here in Alabama, but not on this GSRC broadcast. What we're going to do is take a short break. Then we will come back to run down the entire finishing order of the Barber 100 that just concluded, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate here at Barber Motorsports Park. Back in a few. Welcome back to Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart Retro Series. Round number 15 of the inaugural season from Barber Motorsports Park, and we just got the results in, so let's go through it right now. The top 3 drivers ran nose to tail for the final part of the race. Adam Blocker, Ryan Otis, and Jake Wright come home in the same order that they qualified in. Congratulations to Adam Blocker on the win. Dustin Wardlow, not sure if he even saw a car to battle with the entire race, finishes 46 seconds behind the lead cars, 20 seconds ahead of David Altman, who finished 5th. Samuel Ryman, the last car on the lead lap, qualified 5th, finishing in 6th. I think he's probably going to be happy with that one. Welcome back to the series, Jesse Vincent. Nice to see him racing. He's the first car 1 lap down in 7th. Travis Jagerliner and George Anzaldo go 8th and 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Bob Mikas. Ken?
Pierre Daigle is going to finish where he started in the 11th spot tonight. Rory Collins gaining 10 spots since where he started, 22nd to 12th. In 13th, Ed Tutwiler. 14th place, Tony Schoen. Vincent Blumenthal in 15th, right where he started once again. Frank Beezer will finish in the 16th spot. And now Matthew Mercer in 17th. Dylan McKenna, who hit, I guess you could say, hit everything but the pace car, will round out in the 18th spot tonight. Jason Galvin had such a great run in that top 10, even though he fell outside the top 10 in 11th, but he found trouble early, which will cause him to finish in 19th. Joel Branch in rounding out the top 20. Dan Guerin, 21st, and rounding out the 22-car field that started the race tonight is Bart Workman.
Trust me, they're checking the pace car for dents right now. Some big names down at the bottom. Jason Galvin, Joe Branch, and Dan Guerin. Look at that. Big names that did not have a good result. But let's talk to somebody who had a great result, and that is our winner, Adam Blocker. We've been waiting for him to get a win over in the IndyCar Series. Adam and Soup here. I get to cover this one today. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic after that one. That was an amazing race. Me, Jake, and Otis were, I don't know, it was so close. I mean, okay. That's one of my best wins for a while, I think. I think Jackie Stewart said you can judge the quality of a win by who finished second, and, I had probably the best person in this car, in this league, finish second, so.
Well, before we go to the end, let's go early on. Now, Wright, I don't know if you were able to pay attention to this. Wright peeled off well ahead of you guys, and then even Otis came in. You decided to stay out longer. Was that always the strategy for you? Run it till it's dry?
Well, I noticed that Jake pitted really early, but I didn't think that was the best strategy because I think he pitted because Otis and I had one car in front of us, like one lap traffic, but I was afraid if we pitted that early that we would get stuck behind a bunch of people that hadn't pitted yet. And I'm not sure if that's what happened or not, but so I decided to keep going as long as I had clear track or until Otis pitted. So after that, I had clear track and I was, in a really good rhythm. So I didn't want to pit while I was putting in good laps. And then Otis pitted and I, decided to pit a couple laps later.
Yeah, I think the little bit of time after you came out of your pit stop where you had a pretty good lead, I think that told us a lot about how good Ryan Otis was. Because it was about 3 seconds when you came out. He was able to run that down. And then to the last part, my goodness, he was on you.
Well, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I didn't take tires, and they took tires. I decided to not take tires because I guess I just wanted to take a huge risk. I don't know. But, because I wanted to keep track position because I figured it was going to be really hard to pass, even though I was going to make it really hard on myself to keep track position. But I was afraid if I took tires, I might come out behind him, and then I wouldn't have anything, I wouldn't be able to pass him, and that would be it. So I just took a gamble and had to sweat for like the last 15 laps to keep him back. But
do the tires actually cost you time? You can get the fuel done before the tires are finished, is what?
Yeah, exactly. And this car doesn't have terrible tire wear like the DW12, but it still has enough, especially like when you heat cycle them. So when you go in the pits, they cool down a lot, and when they heat back up, they don't behave that well. And so that's what I was sliding around for the first couple laps because of that.
Okay, we're going to get you out of here on this one. Let's go to the very last lap. While we were watching him run you down, I thought, and Tanner thought we both did, that his best shot was out of 16 into 1. He never really had the run until the very, very end. Boy, if he would have had that run on you a lap earlier where he could have pushed it into 1, he might have got you.
No, you're spot on with that. I think I was talking to Otis after the race, and I was saying, probably we both thought the best place for him to pass me was under 1. Of course, I don't know. I just was kind of nervous coming off the final corner last lap, and I just made sure not to, drop it or anything like that. So I was probably more cautious than I would have been if it wasn't the last corner of the last lap. But yeah, for sure, that was the best place he could have passed me, and he just couldn't get a good enough run the whole way. So.
Well, congratulations on the win. It was for a battle that had no passing. It was really exciting to watch. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan Otis, your winner here today. Boy, that was a good interview. He had a lot to say there, and we learned a lot from it. Oh, sorry, what did I say? Ryan Otis, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get Ryan Otis in for the interview here. Adam Blocker, our winner. Now we can talk to the guy in second, Ryan Otis. Go ahead, Tanner. We brought him in.
Ryan Otis, tell you what, man, you just need a 8/100ths of a second to get to the line to beat Adam Blocker, but I have to ask, man, if there was one more lap left, do you think you could have gotten Adam Blocker?
Boy, I don't know. I know I definitely would have tried. He drove such an excellent race, and same with Jake. He was on my tail the whole way, and it's a tough place to pass, but I was trying my best anyway, trying to get a wheel in here and there, and couldn't quite get it done. But he did a great job. Him and Jake both. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, it looked pretty intense up here. I was wondering if you were going to get him in that final corner. It looked like and Supa was guessing the same thing, that your best chance to probably get Adam was either coming off the final corner and going into 1 to try to get him there. Otherwise, you're behind Adam Blocker. What was the most frustrating part as a driver to try to get the race leader like that on a track like this?
I'd say the only real frustrating part is the aero push that you get when you get up real close to them in those faster corners, where I couldn't quite run the same line, and I couldn't stay flat in a couple sections where you can stay flat when you're in clean air. And part of it was just trying to adjust to that and trying to make the most of it without losing time. So even through turn 1, the aero push was really bad, and so I'd drop back pretty far and then make it back up. But it was just a lot of fun all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked a lot of fun, and on a track that I've seen a lot of elevation change here. But I tell you what, how did you determine when you decide, okay, I'm going to pit on this stop right now, compared to stopping maybe later than what Adam Blocker did?
Well, so I saw Jake had pit pretty early, and I knew he was going to try to get some clear track and try to put in some flyers. So I was a little bit worried about staying out too long in case he was going to be able to jump both of us. And so I just kind of went until we came up on some traffic, and I think made a small mistake, and I opened up a small gap to him, and so I decided just to shove it in the pits and see if I could get a real flyer out lap. But I ended up just running straight into traffic on the out lap, and so it kind of backfired all the way around. I couldn't get flying laps, and he had obviously the winning strategy of not taking tires, because when he came out, he was a few seconds down the road. And obviously we closed the gap pretty fast, but you just can't get by.
Yeah, and it would look like a very tough deal to pass all around the racetrack itself. But yeah, you nearly had him there. But now we're going to Dover. How do you feel about your chances on the rest of the season as far as the oval tracks are concerned?
Oh, I feel pretty good about the smaller ovals. The miles are less. So I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Ryan, well, thank you for taking your time to come talk with us, and so close tonight. Hopefully go get him next week at Dover.
Thanks, guys.
Back to you, Soup.
Okay, Ryan Otis, your second place finisher now. Now we're going to talk to the guy who finished third on the podium, Jake Wright. Jake, I think this race was won and lost in qualifying. You qualified third, you finished third. It was tough.
Yeah, this was a tough race. Right at the end of practice, I found a bunch of time, and I was able to get a pretty good qualifying lap in, but it wasn't enough to get ahead of Adam and Ryan. I think Adam ran a 13, which is insane. But the race, it was pretty straightforward. We were all just in a line, but I'm sure it was pretty exciting here.
I like the pit strategy. You weren't going to be able to get around him on the track. You just decided to come in early, see what happens, roll the dice a bit.
Yeah, I thought I'd try pit strategy. We were catching up to some lap traffic, so I thought maybe I could come in, get some fresh tires, clean track, and maybe gain some time, but it didn't work out like I thought it would.
All right, well, third place here. You're going to stay on the top of the championship points, so good luck the rest of the way, and see if we can pick up a double championship in both this series and the IndyCar series.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll try to make it happen.
All right, Jake Wright, your third place finisher today. We would be remiss if we didn't bring in our own Samuel Ryman, who had a nice run finishing on the lead lap. We're going to let Tanner talk to him. Samuel Ryman got 6th place.
Sam, looked like you had a very slow start to the race today, but looked like you really attempted to try to gain all those positions back, and you came out the 6th place today. Tell me about your day on track.
Yeah, pretty much everything bad that happened during the race happened on the opening lap. I saw David Altman get in the grass coming out of turn 1, so I kind of moved to the left a little bit in case he slid back out on the racetrack. And I think that probably put me in the marbles and just set me up for a couple of passes on the opening lap. So, I dropped at 8th or 9th or something. Fortunately, was able to pick off those positions for others' misfortunes, and I was running David Altman down at the end there, but he got me by a few seconds.
You finished seven times in the top 10s in the last 8 starts here in the Lionheart Retro Series. How about another top 10 or a top 5 or maybe a win at Dover next week?
Well, Dover is going to be very interesting. I know road courses have kind of been my specialty during the series, so I really wanted to capitalise and try and get a top 10 finish in the last road course series race of the season.
And that was a good, well-achieved goal right there, Sam. Well, congratulations on a 6th place finish, and hopefully we'll go again next week for a top 5 finish, or heck, maybe even a win. First career win in the Lionheart Retro Series.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Just want to give a shout out to Bryce Whitson. He's a driver who's competed in other series that we broadcast on the Global Sim Racing channel before, and was running a special paint scheme for him tonight.
All right, thanks, Sam, for coming to talk with us tonight here on the GSRC, and we'll see you next week.
Now we're going to wrap up here with a quick interview here with Jesse Vincent. Jesse, man, if you're gonna decide to race, could you do the commentators a favor and at least put in a qualifying time? I corrected Tanner when calling the grid, and we called you there in 19th. And I go, no, Tanner, Jesse's up in the stewards booth, but now you're out there. Congratulations, nice to see you racing.
But qualifying is no fun. I mean, I didn't qualify, and it still stuck me in 19th. So I asked George if I could give myself an EOL, so that's what I did.
You made up 12 positions. I imagine you had to pass some of those on the track. Passing was so hard. Did you actually make some legitimate passes today to get up there?
Oh, yeah. I think the only pass that I made in the pit was on Travis, and I think he had some pretty gnarly front wing damage anyway. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, it was just most of them were in the first few laps, but then kind of like Laguna Seca, I got behind George, and George has improved quite a bit since I was racing in the IndyCar series, because he's gotten pretty difficult to get around. It was almost just like Laguna Seca, where I pass everybody, get to him, and it just stalls.
Yeah, we saw that battle a little bit. I was thinking what you could do is just because he's so used to listening to what you say as a race steward, you could just probably say pull over, and he might do it for you.
Yeah, black flag number 6.
There you go. Hey, congrats! It was great to see you out on the track, man. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right, thanks. Y'all have a good night.
Jesse Vincent, your 7th place finisher, leaders of the car on the lead on the 1 lap down. That'll do it for us here at the Global Sim Racing Channel. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We have some people that we'd like to thank. And first off, we got to thank everybody at Lionheart. For a long time, the Lionheart IndyCar Series has been considered the premier pick setup league in the Indy cars for on-racing service. And this is new retro series is quickly earning a similar reputation here for the Lotus 79. GSRC is proud to be associated with both. Thanks to our race sponsor, and it was Dustin Wardlow today from Dwarf's Candy. If you want a good Valentine's present, or it's not, what are we now? We're in August? September? We're in September. You need something coming up for like the cold. Oh, Halloween's coming up. Hey, there you go. Yeah, you don't want to give these out to the kids. It's too good to give out to the neighbors because they won't appreciate it. Check out Dwarf's Candy. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that we've heard today is thanks to, you know who it is. They've been with us for years. Eric Eckham and Casey Lalonde. See the screen to how to download some of their digital stuff. The Lionheart Retro Series will return in, get this, 1 week, that's 7 days, October 5th, for the Race for the Cure 150 from Dover. GSRC will be there, and we hope that you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also at Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And now, finally, on behalf of my Mike Tanner Sharp, our director Joe Feek, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.